this is Chris Mullen here for Vision Tech with my Imagine project, which started out as this and then ended up as this. So the process for making this was actually kind of long. I started out just kind of combining the blend tool with a bunch of different fonts and combining fonts and making them all mesh together and look really cool. Actually, originally, what this was, it wasn't connected, the A wasn't connected to this or anything like that, but I got a font that it had different types of letters for each letter. So the A, there's like 3 different styles of A. I think the K has a few different ones. The I is, it's got 2, but they're completely different. One has a dot and the other has what you see here. Then the H and the P's have different styles as well, which create this really cool linear type of line that goes through the P's all the way through the E. Doesn't continue into the N, which kind of breaks some of what you had, but whatever. This isn't even the final project. I just really like this, and this is a cool thing that I'll be able to go back to in the future. But it did lead me to this, which is Make It Happen. Whoa, sorry. Make It Happen, which was the idea that I got from actually watching Bo Burnham on Netflix for some odd reason. I don't know how I got that from Bo Burnham, but that's what I did. And then I came across a tutorial which had these really cool kind of neat tubing effects, and it showed how you can interlace this with this, and then what I ended up doing obviously was build a memory, which is interlacing the build with make and the A with it and the memory with happen, which is awesome because it just so happens that there's not too many letters going with a word that doesn't have as many letters as the word that you're trying to interlace with it, which is confusing, but basically it doesn't make a word bigger than the word that is plain text instead of the typography that I did, which is this. And it's a different style of typography. It's lettering instead of just making a few paths and then writing words on it to create a picture from the words, which is a really cool thing to do, but it's not what I wanted to do. I took a kind of crappy highlighter and just went memory on the sheet of paper. Then I drew a bunch of points on it, typed it out, and I got this shell or just stroke piece that I drew. Oh geez, I'm not. What I did was I made a bunch of lines and used the blend tool, which I had learned how to really master by doing this. All of this large meaty stroke that you see isn't just a stroke. It's a lot more refined than just a stroke, and that's made using the blend tool. And this is also made using the blend tool. So you take a bunch of circles, make a gradient of colors out of those circles, and then you can combine those together using the blend tool. And then there's a really neat feature called Replace Spine, which I don't have any of the circles that I made on this document, but you get Object, Blend, Replace Spine, and the stroke that you had made, or the lines out of the stroke, just like this, instead of it just being a black line, it got filled in with all of these tiny little circles, and there'd be a bunch of imperfections that you'd have to cut out and stuff. It was a pretty simple process. It just took a little while to make sure that you got the colors right, made sure everything worked well together, and eventually you put it into Photoshop and you just use a bunch of masks and such to get this result, which was really, really cool to see it all come together over about 2 weeks. And yeah, so that's what I ended up with. Obviously there's a lot more that could have been done. I mean, it's not perfect. It would be cool to have this this little Y, the N part, go through the top part of the the little bit that's bending over, and then you would have it look like it's actually through there. But it's very, since I didn't put enough room in between, or put a big enough loop for the Y, it didn't work out that way. So if I had more time, I would definitely go back and fix a few of those things. But all in all, I learned a lot from this, and made a lot of strides forward in how I'm going to use Illustrator in the future and how I can improve on it. And I thought it was a really cool project, and I've definitely got this thing that I can go back to. So thank you for watching, and I'll do another one, I think, maybe, probably.